PL, if you don't mind, I call you that. We've been friends a very, very long time. In the wake of that, the horrific Washington, D.C. shooting last Wednesday, 2 National Guards people shot. Democrats are saying that President Trump shouldn't have had them in D.C. at the time, shouldn't have been there at all, essentially blaming Trump for the death of Sarah Beckstrom and the critical condition of Andrew Wolf. How do you respond to the Democrats always blaming Trump for everything, even when, and we'll get to what type of person this was that was the shooter, even when it looks like it appears to be one of them from their side?
Obviously, it's important that they're saying that, and I've called this out publicly because we know that even just 2 days prior, there was a Democrat senator that was talking about how, military members need to resist, and obviously, painting Trump as a fascist, and then also remember the seditious six that are out there. All I can say is that, these people tend to, instead of reflecting and seeing how they can better help the American people, they tend to draw attention away from their own faults. And the fact is that the shooter was indeed allowed into this country and through a forced vetting process under the Biden administration. And frankly, I think that President Trump is correct in pausing all of these visas currently for people coming from similar areas. Right now, when you have a military age male that's seeking to access the United States, obviously not staying in his own country. And then obviously it was interesting to hear Kristi Noem specifically state that he was radicalized when here. So I'm interested to see what the report and the final discovery on this investigation can yield.
Yeah, and we just heard a little more than an hour ago, this guy pleaded not guilty to murder and assault charges from his hospital room, because he exchanged fire with some other members of law enforcement. But let's just stay on that for a second. There's those on the left. I did an interview this morning with a China TV leftist group, and they were just leaning into me about how you could pause all these different types of people that want to come in right now. I said, because Biden let in tens of thousands just from Afghanistan alone. APL, I'm calling this the 14th death from the horrific Afghan pullout that Biden screwed up, where 13 service members died there. I would call this the 14th. And let's not forget that when the dignified transfer, when those 13 corpses in the caskets were draped in the flag, were coming off airplanes at Joint Base Andrews, Biden looked at his watch because he couldn't be bothered with much more of this. So let's talk a little bit to them, directly to them. What's your message to Democrats blaming Trump for this stuff?
It's important and, reflect internally. What's sad is that, though, I don't think that a majority of Democrats, normal Democrats not in Washington, believe this. I think that a lot of people, if you look at why President Trump was largely able to win his reelection, it was because of the fact that he promised to secure the borders. And even some of these, lower income, tending to lean left or lean Democrat communities did not want that impacting their communities. And the fact is that it wasn't just these people that Biden let in. Biden let in millions of illegals. Not to mention, there's been multiple cases of known people on the terrorist watch list that his Department of Homeland Security let in and released into our territories here in the United States. And so obviously it's concerning, but yes, I do believe that the vetting process was rushed and not done correctly. We also know that this individual had worked with the CIA, but the CIA, again, has a different vetting process. And then the fact that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said that he was radicalized obviously shows there may have been connections with groups here in the United States that sought to sow discord and instability from within. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But again, for people to say that, Trump shouldn't have the National Guard in Washington, D.C., well, isn't it interesting? These are the same members of Congress that are rushing their own concealed carry permits. Meanwhile, they're lecturing the American people on why they should not own firearms and how firearms are, the #1 cause of death in the United States. And it's just completely hypocritical. And so they're the first ones to ask for security, for private protection from the Speaker of the House, and to use that. And yet they're sitting here saying, well, the rest of the, Washington, D.C. residents, even though it was one of the most dangerous cities in the United States, shouldn't have those same protections. And so it's simply absurd.